Hello everyone, this is Julia with Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition. Today is session 24 and I'm super excited to introduce you someone who was a very important part of my educational program at the Future Food Institute because he was my academic coordinator. And while he's joining, a bit about these sessions. So we started these sessions in April to introduce our ecosystem members who either attended as a student or participated on some way on any of the educational programs, let it be the Food Innovation Master Program or summer schools or the boot camps what we organize with FAO. And this being said, actually super excited this week. Well, I'm just telling you how excited I am, actually pretty much high on adrenaline at the moment, because we kicked off our 4-week digital boot camp. And it started yesterday with almost 50 amazing and inspiring people from all over the world, following 4 different tracks, including climate smart cities, oceans, farms, and kitchens. I think that was the 4th. I am super excited to go along this journey with them for the next weeks. And hi, Vincenzo.
Hello everybody.
Hi. I just quickly finished the intro and then we can jump in. These conversations will also give a space for those people in the future to be featured because they will become an alumni over this 4 weeks course. And although we decided to take a summer break after this week, that doesn't mean we will stop the alumni sessions. We will just wait till we have enough content again and restart in September. So please don't miss the final conversation on Thursday at 11 a.m. Central European Time. And if you missed the previous ones, no problem. They are available on IGTV and YouTube. So go ahead and listen to all of the inspiring conversations we had so far. And today is Vincenzo Di Maria, dialing in directly from Bologna.
Straight on. Hello, everybody. Hello, Julia.
So nice to see you, Vincenzo, after such a long time. And I already told the others, I give a bit of a spoiler, that you were the coordinator of my program in 2018. So would you be okay with telling us what was the story? How did you get in touch with the Future Food Institute, and how did you end up following us through 2018 and actually mentoring us as well a lot?
Yeah, it was a bit of a special year. I was living in Sicily, which is the land where I come from, back in 2017. And I was already planning to move to Bologna. And that was the perfect challenge for me to jump on when I moved to Bologna to join the program. I knew some of the people who were already mentoring and teaching in the program. And from the outside, it was very exciting. I've been working in food related projects, but I guess I will speak about those in a while. And I was very intrigued to see how food could connect many different aspects of what I was interested in. The anthropological, ethnographical aspects of getting into people's life and cultures, but also the design thinking and innovation and entrepreneurial aspects. So how those humanistic and entrepreneurial background could fit together. So I got in touch and I started this amazing challenge with you, which was a bit of a journey. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the people I met that year. That was a very incredible connection, full of relationships. I learned a lot from you guys, from all the students. I guess that teaching and being on the other side gives you a chance to learn while sharing. And that's what Future Food Institute and the Food Innovation Program gave me that year. A lot of connection, a lot of perspectives.
Sorry, I see that you have some serious fans listening in. And if you would not recognize under the name, I think it's Oriane, who is sending you all the love from Belgium. Yes. So, I wanted to ask you about those experiences with food innovation, but also specifically, so you are more involved in social innovation, in service design, and then you joined our program and got all these foodie input inside. So what were those takeaways? What are your experiences and what are the projects what you could actually use these experiences in the past.
Yeah, I'm a designer by trade. I started as a product designer. I design the intangible side of design today. I design services, experiences, interactions. When it comes about food and values, so there's a lot I had to learn quite fast, which is not just, but I mean, I've been living in different parts of Europe myself, so I was being curious about food, but I didn't know a lot of things, not just in terms of how the whole food value chain works, but the many different approaches and aspects that I found interesting around food innovation, like sociality and the idea of changing economics through food innovation. I see that food is something I always took as a given thing, coming from the south of Italy, from a Mediterranean area where food is at the center of it without even thinking of it. I start thinking about it, and that's thank you to the diversity of points of view and perspectives that the students gave me that year, but also some of the colleagues I met around the world during the global mission. I saw that there is not only one way to look at food. Food can be designed, and the food experiences around us, some of them are spontaneous and authentic, some other are very highly designed, and there is a range of inputs that you can put on it. Of course, we all love the very spontaneous, authentic street food market, but we also love to go to a 3 Michelin star restaurant and have a full immersive experience. Now, there is a degree of design across those. And talking about food as something that is changing and evolving with us, I'm always interested in change, transformation. That's what innovation does. It transforms things. How do we feed the planet? How do we change the way we eat? How do we change habits? How do we change mindsets? How do we change society through food? That's I found design and food got this synergy in being the seeds of change in what we want to see, not just individually, but as communities, as countries, as planets.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. So if you would need to explain what service design is to someone who is maybe my grandmother,
Yes.
I know Hungarian, the language would be a barrier, but someone who is not in our field, who has not heard this expression before, how would you define that?
Yeah, the problem with service design that combines 2 words: design, which is usually culturally associated to something too beautiful and expensive, which is out of reach, and services, which is a bit of a strange word that has got the risk to remain an empty word. Services is something we use every day, from transportation to telecommunication, to go to the restaurant, to using the canteen, to unfortunately going to a hospital. It's something we do every day. When things do not work, it means they're not well designed. That's what service design does: make things work, but also make things usable, easy to find, and sometimes memorable, which means it makes more desirable compared to many other opportunities we have. Why do we go to that coffee shop and not the other? Why do we choose this mobile phone provider and not the other? Why do we shop online and do not go to the local shop? Well, why do we do things? Why do we take Uber and not a regular cab? Why do we do Airbnb and we don't do other things? So that's what service design is about. It's about designing and orchestrating the intangible experience that make us choose things that we may pay if we talk about private services like teletransportation, I like telecommunication, transportation, a mix of those, but also things we don't pay. If we think about public services, if you think about what is your city hall doing for you, how is the rubbish collection system works in your city, is that something maybe we pay through taxes? And then there are social innovation projects. If you think about migrations, what are services to welcoming migrants in our country? What about cultural integration services, reconnecting families? Those are very important services we all need, as paying taxes, as doing other things maybe are not that sexy, but somebody has to design those. Otherwise, we'll all be in trouble.
They have become sexy. Sorry, I interrupted.
The best way of realizing that we need service design is when we need to use something and it's out of service. We realize how much we need services in the moment we cannot use them.
Yeah, So you mentioned public services, and I think this is very important because I never heard anyone talking positively about public services. It's always about what is not working well. So do you see actually the public sector reaching out to people like you and organizing those rather human-centered design projects to form their services in a different way?
I see a bit of both options in a way that some enlightened public services at central level, I'm talking about governments, or at local level, if we're talking about regional or city hall sort of municipalities, they can do different things. And public sector is not just about municipality or governments, it's also universities, chamber of commerce. It's got many, many different faces, the public sector. It's about healthcare in some countries. There are some countries like Denmark, but even Bologna, to be a regional excellence in Italy. This has been a bit of a strange period just after the pandemic of COVID, but the health system here and the public sector health system has been doing a great job in offering the best possible service. Of course, with all the limits of resources and infrastructure, but we got good heads in some cities. They're able to go and reach out for innovative approaches. On the other hand, I've seen many designers or community bottom-up approaches approaching the public sector by proposing new initiatives and small projects. And at that point, you have a lot of small projects and you need to connect the dots to have the sort of systemic change you're looking for. Yeah. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. You cannot really knock the door of your municipality and, hey, let's do some design thinking. What about redesigning your services? Services are not made just by the visible stuff we see. It's like an iceberg. We experience a tiny part of the service, but all the stuff under the visibility line, it's all the policy making stuff, the key decision, the procurement processes, and all those sticky things which is hard to grasp.
Yeah, it's really hierarchical. Yeah, exactly. I might actually connect this with one of my later, what I wanted to ask a bit later, but especially during the past few months due to pandemic and talking about like bottom-up approaches and grassroots movements, we have experienced a lot of change, but actually happened way faster than it could have been, for example, last year. So this pandemic opened certain doors to some opportunities, and I know that the drive was sometimes survival. Yes. But how did you experience that in your surrounding? How did changes happen in Italy, in your business area, or even in food?
I live in Bologna, and of course, Italy has been one of the most affected regions across the world. And we started the lockdown earlier than other countries, after China, basically, at the beginning of March. It's been quite interesting phase for all of us, not just businesses. I ran a small business, so I had the luxury to be already used to smart work, agile working, and however, some of our clients didn't manage to survive during this pandemic. Some of them closed down, especially one who was dealing with facility management and hospitality didn't make it through because he couldn't survive. And that affected us personally as well in the way I'm eating. I was already going through a nutritionist sort of service approach. And I had a baby who was born just before pandemic kicked on. So for me, it was a bit of a luxury to be home with the baby, see him growing. But the fact of choosing the food, not every day on a daily, regular basis, but choosing the food weekly because you didn't want to go out and do every day and do shopping every day as probably other times of the year we do. So we were planning more carefully what we were eating. Probably was spending less. Eating out was out of the window. There was not an option. And there's a lot more home cooking and a lot more carefully plan and choice sort of diet. The way we shop and the way we eat and the way we plan meals became quite important for me, my partner, my baby. And that personally affected me a lot. In terms of business, I've seen some agencies running through the sky. We're working at the moment with an agency, with a company, Italian company, providing oxygen to hospitals. That's not a bad business for this time of the year. So there are, or logistics. If you think about deliveries or transportation, those are, or supermarkets. Those are all businesses that have been thriving during coronaviruses. Of course, by changing the way they work, you're seeing the big queue at the supermarket. I've started to go more at the local market and less at the supermarket during pandemic. Although if I was going to the supermarket, I was looking for the organic stuff and the biological stuff. When you go to the local market, maybe you can argue a lot about organic or biological, but it's local. So there's a shift in priorities, and you choose how to vote with your money, the type of consumptions you prefer. I think the food and design share one specific thing. They are both of them a political act. The way you eat and the way you design stuff, it's very political. You make choices all the time by choosing what to buy or what to eat. You're making a choice every day, probably 3 or 4 times a day.
Definitely, yes. You vote with your fork, that's for sure. And so tell me, what interesting current projects are you working on? I heard some whispers about a book.
Yes, it's true. I'm writing a book, which is my first book, and it's a bit terrifying because I'm a trainer, I'm a facilitator, maybe I'm a bit of a performer. But when you come down to write a book, you need to reflect a lot. You need to choose the right word, and the book is going to stay. It's going to be printed out in this sort of digital world. This book is going to be physical, printed on paper. The book is called Start Small, and it's about service design for small companies. And what I like to claim, that in service design, size doesn't matter. And that every company, even if very small, even if public sector related, even if third sector social innovation project, they can start using some service design in what they're doing. Think about pharmacists during this COVID period. Of course, they've been struggling because they've been overwhelmed. They've been like an information hotspot, providing many different services, and everybody wanted a local pharmacist and get anything they needed, from masks to gloves and information more than anything else. I haven't heard of many pharmacists using service design in what they do, but that's exactly what they need in providing services to many different citizens. And if a pharmacy adopts some small service design tips and tricks, it can improve a lot their own service, their own business, but that means they will make a great favor to all the community or all the neighborhood, and that means great value for everybody. So that's what the book is about. It's about running small projects. It's about saying that design is not a corporate thing that big companies with big money can afford. It's true. If you have a lot of resources, you can do bigger things, but you can also start small and think big.
Yes, that sounds very good. And then, so this book will also include tools, but if someone like I would be a small business and I would like to learn about this, will you provide tools? Will there be case studies in the book? How shall I imagine? Can we have some spoiler?
Oh yes, my editor is gonna kill me, but I can say the book is divided in 2 parts. The first 4 chapters are all about the intention, why we design the way we design, why starting small is a good thing for small companies. The other 4 chapters, they're about action. How do you put this into practice? How do you start a small project? How do you prepare? How do you engage stakeholders? How do you get the right resources? What sort of materials? Of course, there's a chapter which is all about activities and practical activities. There are a few things that can be easily transferred by if I say, oh, make an inventory of your touch points, I need to explain what a touch point is, but these are easy things. If I need to explain complex things, how to do a service blueprint or how to run a user interview and a user test, that will get quite technical and quite complicated. Probably a book is never going to be enough. You need practice, and maybe you need design coaching with support from somebody more experienced than you are. I cannot pretend to read a book and be an engineer, and I cannot pretend to read the manual on how to, I don't know, pilot an helicopter and jump on a helicopter the day after. So I need practice, I need experience, and that's going to be the same with the book. What I'm trying to do is using a natural language to explain small businesses in their own words what they can do to get closer to this idea of service design. Very often I speak about service acupuncture, which is not a bit traumatic transplant or chopping off a leg or chopping off a piece of the organism, but it's about small intervention to release a great energy on the overall system. So that's the idea of service acupuncture and starting small.
I really like this expression and the whole analogy what you just explained. We
I
have
can
a
give you a food
question.
metaphor if you want.
No, it's all fine. I'm completely fine with the service acupuncture. Thank you. So we have a question here. Consumers became very emotional when purchasing food during pandemic.
Yes.
How does this impact service design?
Well, I guess the way you are provided with food, because we think food as a product, I think of food as a service. And the way you get to choose and buy food can change a lot. Of course, if your previous experience of buying food was going to the supermarket and buy certain kind of food, and during pandemic, you're still going to the supermarket, but you're taking a longer queue, you're putting masks, you're putting gloves, but you're still at the supermarket. It's a similar kind of experience. It's a longer experience. Maybe you go more time to think, and maybe you go once a week rather than 3 times a week. So you need to make better choices already. So I know that you get quite emotional and you try to buy more things that you need, and probably that will end up being wasting more food during the week. But from a service perspective, the way you choose, the way you order food, you get delivered at home, the way you start thinking of food as a service could change the way you buy and choose food as well. So that's what I'm saying. Me personally, is just because I was following a nutritionist plan. I already more or less what I had to eat, and I had beans and sort of legumes for many days. That was quite interesting when it started being warmer weather. In terms of how this has impacted service design, I don't think the service design as a discipline can be impacted. I think the service design applied to real context can change the way we look at food. So I've seen things like a family going shopping for the other neighbors. I've seen natural dynamics. I've seen more sharing food, of course, not at the same table, but the way you pack. I'm a bit worried with pandemic about the sustainability aspects, because of course we were demonstrating and complaining about plastic consumption just 4 months ago, and Friday for Future and everything else. And food, as we know, food production, food consumption is a big part of it. Now with this packaging and overpack, because we need it, because of protection, because of healthcare, because of many other reasons, we kind of forgot all of that, and priority shifted again. So these are the major things that are impacting us. What can service design do?
Let's hope that now those companies who are trying to find packaging which are not from plastic but from other maybe upcycled ingredients can get a lot of funding soon. So we will find a solution for that.
Yes. Yeah. But it's a cycle. I mean, the way we choose food, the way we choose the packaging, the way we throw away the packaging, what we do with things, even if it's biodegradable packaging and we throw it in the streets, it's not going to be good anyway. So it's a collaboration, it's a collaborative effort, and that's we are a part of it. From a design perspective, we make choices that may be implemented and may affect millions of people. Because if I choose how to redesign a supermarket, or I choose how to redesign the packaging of a product, of a food product, the impact you have with your choices is greater than just buying or not buying a can of beans. So beans on a can, beans on a glass jar. So those are the choices the consumer have, and those are powerful decisions. But from a designer, you have a high responsibility. You need to be informed, you need to be prepared, and you need to think 2-3 steps ahead, like a chess player will do.
Definitely, because those choices, what a person has to do in a supermarket, I mean, you have to pass how many thousands of products till you actually find the one what you had on your shopping list, and then figure out what is the best choice what you can make. So yes, if these decisions could be made easier, I think it's very can be
Well,
very
what
powerful.
I always say, the marketing and design have a lot in common. However, marketing, it's very focused on the sort of advertising style and communication, and focusing on the point of sale. Getting the consumer to get to the moment is purchasing something, whether it's a product or a service, whether it's food or something else. While design is using creativity and strategy and strategic thinking and innovation in order to make the experience or the product more usable and easy to experience. So it's not just focusing on the point of sale, because in the moment you buy a pasta box in the shop, from a marketing perspective, that's it. I mean, you're done, you bought it. But then when the love story starts, that's what's going to happen when you're going to bring it at home. You're going to put it next to the other pasta boxes, or you're going to use it straight away. It's got a recipe on the, so what's going to happen while cooking? You're going to remember the pasta shape rather than the other pasta shape. That's the point. Not just selling stuff, but experiencing things.
Here we go. One more question regarding this topic here.
Labels.
But too much certification and labels supposed to help customers, well, indeed, or confuse. But they're supposed to help, indeed. I think the problem with some of these labels, personally, is that the consumer doesn't always know what is behind that label. What does it actually mean? And having all the different types of these labels can be also very confusing. So
It also depends
communication.
what moments of life, phase of life you're going through. As I say, if you want to lose weight, you're not going to labels. You're going to just read the nutritional facts. Same if you had a baby or if you're pregnant. There are things that shift completely according to. So sometimes I like to eat local, and sometimes local is not the most sustainable, but it's just local. It's a political choice you make, and you decide to eat your local products. Maybe we'll have different sort of nutritional values, or maybe it's produced less sustainably, but it's local, and that's what I'm committed to. In other moments, you make choices where you're not going to buy the things that taste best, but you're going to buy something that make your baby feel better without putting other stuff on it, and that's a different completely choice making process you go through. So I believe that most of people don't look at labels. Maybe they look at brands. I started looking at labels a lot during the food innovation program, and that helped me being a better person, not just a better eater.
Oh, that's so nice. So I have a final question because we are approaching the end of our conversation. And I know it's rather for like the food future, what you imagine for yourself, but how do you see that? It can be very utopistic. What is the food future you would like
I
for
like
your
one
baby?
thing, going back to this choice making process. I would like not to do too much choice in the way that I go in a supermarket and I have to choose the between bad, worse, good, better, and I need to do a lot of comparing. This is paradox of choice that Schwartz is talking about. I like to go in a shop that whatever I buy, I don't need to look at the labels and the certification, because I know and I trust. I buy the reason why the shop exists. And wow, there are places like in Italy, we have Natura C. Of course, they look like jewelry, and you go there, but at least you make that one choice and you trust that sort of procurement process and the value chain and producers. You know that everything is certified by default, and so whatever you pick is going to be okay. Rather than going product by product and looking and comparing, because that's a waste of time. I'd rather spend time eating or cooking rather than choosing the food I'm going to be eating. So that sort of sourcing process. So if I could be very futuristic, I like the supermarket as already existing, where everything is already certified and you can go there and whatever you buy, it's okay. Or having an app that by scanning the product, it's already highlighting the ones that are already part of your profile. your profile changes with you, evolves. As I say, if you're pregnant, if you're waiting for a baby, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to put up muscles, you're going to be eating different things. So I adjust your profile, and having this sort of turn your mobile phone into a scanner that filters things for you and tells you, look, this, and this. But then it needs to be a marketing-free device. It needs to be a design-powered engine, because it's helping you choosing the things you really want to choose, not the things that brands want to sell you.
Someone else wants you to choose. Yes. Exactly. Thank you so much, Vincenzo. I really would like to live in that future. And I think there are some people working on it. And here I would like to give a shout out to one of the projects I'm working on here in Berlin, which is a community-driven supermarket model. And we want to create this environment where the members can come and they will know that we made the right decision by selecting the portfolio already for them. Thank you, Vincenzo. It was a lovely conversation. Thank you for the audience, for the questions. If you dialed in later, the conversation will be posted on IGTV right afterwards. And please come and listen in on Thursday at 11 a.m. To my 25th session of the Alumni edition for this conversation before the summer break. Vincenzo, I was so happy to see you and talk to you. Take care.
The future is bright. Take care.
Bye.